Welcome to the Newsa-Cast YouTube channel. These Red Smith Banquet throwbacks are exclusive interviews of sports legends, powerful media personalities, and influential coaches. You won't find these anywhere else. Subscribe below and enjoy. All right, Tosh, it's that time again, once again, for the Red Smith Banquet throwback back to 2019, where we had legendary University of Wisconsin marching band director Michael Lackrone.
Yeah, a person who made a huge difference in a lot of young people's life. He was the band director from 1975 all the way to 2019, and he put the Badger Band on the map. Right? I mean,
he
fifth
100%
quarter,
did. Yeah,
gosh,
that was all under him. He started. I mean, everything that you know about the Badger Band, and you know they come to Lambeau. Obviously, every Badger game,
right.
Every sport at a Badger game, they're just. We all know they're absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
really.
How exciting was it when they showed up when we're in a parade as well?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that always
absolutely.
made a huge difference in the parade. You were super excited to see the Badger Band come.
Just crisp and loud and just so talented, and yeah, they're legendary. And he's a character. I mean, he's I tower over him, and that's saying something. So yeah, no, he's just a little guy with an absolute. I mean that in the best way, with an absolutely huge personality and talent, and just an incredible boy. When people that have been to he retired, we had him in 2019, and that was the year that he retired, but I can still picture him up on those steps, just directing the band, and he was a showman. He was true showman in every sense of the word.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun to have him. It was good to have him when the year he retired, and talk about the history. And you're going to enjoy this throwback, especially if you love a little Wisconsin band.
Yes, stay till the end, folks. Stay till the end.
Wait a minute. Does anyone know where Mike is? Ladies and gentlemen, does anyone know where Mike Lackrone is by any chance? Well, thank you so much. Right there, Mike. So as you can see, we spare no budget around here, okay? The man do know how to make an entrance.
Well, thank you for having me on. Following Chichi Rodriguez is a lot like going on your first blind date. Isn't everything you'd hope for, but it's better than nothing.
The second act here at Skyline Comedy Club.
I'm not going
Mike Lackrone. Give it up for Mike. So, how's kind of semi-retirement?
Well, I haven't found out yet because from the time I announced, we've had football, we've had a bowl trip.
Bowl game.
won the Pinstripe Bowl, and then we started right in with basketball and hockey, so I haven't really had a chance to digest it yet, but it's coming soon.
I don't have the picture, but you played basketball at Butler University.
I did as a freshman.
And you played with, you remember Joey Chitwood? Guy who makes the shot in Hoosiers? You played with the man that inspired that, correct?
Bobby Plump. Bobby Plump was a classmate of mine. Yeah. Went to Milan High School, small school. Had,
Little one, yeah.
Yeah, I think it had 120 people in the whole high school to beat Muncie Central for the state championship of Indiana. And when you win the state championship in Indiana, you've done something in that state because it's open class. There was no class division. And Bobby went on to be at Butler, and I got to know him very well. And he is a true legend. I mean, Bobby told me once since he made that shot, he's never had to buy another drink in his life.
So you take over the program here, well, down the road, 50 years ago. Tell me about the state of it at the time. Wasn't very good.
It was Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But the state of it was an unusual time to take over. We hadn't won a football game in 24 times, I think.
Oh.
We had not won. We tied a couple in there, but we hadn't won.
Oh, all right.
And then the team wasn't doing really well. We were in the middle of that conflict, that war that was going on at the time. So it wasn't a popular thing to put on a uniform and march around. Not in Wisconsin.
Right.
And it was just a time where enrollment was kind of sagging. There were a lot of things that weren't going well. And I was the third marching band director in 3 years. So the man who preceded me by a couple of years was a man named Ray Dvorak, who was a true legend in the history of the Wisconsin band. But Ray had retired, and there was that interim period where it just wasn't. They didn't take advantage of the fact that they could have hired me right away.
Okay. So you take a look at the situation. What immediately came to mind, and what was it you said, this has to happen here?
Because everything was there. It was a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
It was like everything was in place. The people in the athletic department wanted to have things going. Everything was in the right place. We had people who were enthusiastic. We had Wisconsin fans, and there's nothing like it. And I say that not to just placate you, but it's true. I mean, the Wisconsin fans are like no others, and I knew there was a base there that had to work, and I had willing kids who wanted to do what they had to do to make it work.
It almost became like a fitness situation, didn't it? You had to be fit to be in the band.
Yeah, well, in those days we had some kids, and I hope there's no former football players here, but there were some of the kids who said being in band was harder than going out for the football team at that particular time. It may well have been. Remember, we didn't win for 24 in a row, but but everything was in the right place, and I really was pleased about that.
So you start going out, and varsity kicks in. When did the fifth quarter actually start?
1978.
How did it start? What did
Well,
you cook it up at?
The way the fifth quarter started was like a lot of good things that become tradition. It was an accident. We had always played, all Big Ten bands do it. They go out on the field after the game is over, and you've all seen them, and they do their show.
There it is.
They stand there and they play the show that they just played for halftime. I got a little bored with that, to tell you the truth. At the beginning, I thought this is deadly. All we're doing is playing the same things that people have heard before. We're not doing anything different. There's nothing lively about it. We were waiting for the fans to leave the stadium, and so I said, well, let's throw something in during the post game to maybe get the crowd involved. And the first thing we did was Beer Barrel Polka. I know everybody in the room knows the Beer Barrel Polka. And you know the words. Well, you think you know the words, but you will sing some words. You'll sing words to it. And so I thought, well, this is a natural. And we tried it, and it worked. And I thought, well, this is good. And a little bit later, the kids in the band that were going to hockey games was doing a chant back and forth with the people at Dane County Coliseum, where they would say, less filling tastes great. I remember that motto. And the two teams, the two fan bases would holler back and forth at each other. And I thought, well, you know, that's not working because, first of all, it's you know, maybe broadcasting a commercial product.
Yeah, okay.
Wasn't a good idea. People in the stands might think students were drinking. that wasn't a good idea. So I said to the band, I said, when we get to that spot where they would say, taste less filling, tastes great, we should tell, when you say Wisconsin, you've said it all. And we just, when they would stand up, we would jump up and say the same thing, try to overshout, and before long it caught on.
Beautiful.
And the next thing you know, it became a part of the staple at the post-game show. That same year, about the last couple games, Elroy was getting complaints about the fact that people were shaking the upper deck when they did You Said It All. They were jumping up and down, and the upper deck was shaking. And he was concerned that there was going to be a safety factor. He went to the extent of having the place tested, make sure that it was safe, and it was safe. It's the normal rocking motion that you would want to have in a structure like that.
And then Jump Around came around.
You know, that was later. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But so Elroy and I formulated, we're going to not do it, but we're going to tell the people we're not going to do it. We're going to say over the loudspeaker, we will, because of the safety concerns of the band and the athletic department, we are not going to play You Said It All until 5 minutes after the final gun. And so give all you people in the stands a chance to leave.
Beautiful.
Well, you know what happens. Nobody left, and so that became a part of our legend, I guess. And I was a local sports writer at the time of the State Journal named Glenn Miller, and he started calling it in the newspaper the fifth quarter. And I liked the sound of that, and it stuck. And we've been doing it ever since.
You have arrived or departed from shows on camels, elephants, tanks, horses, flying through the air.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything? What else?
Well, I'm the first band director in the history to ride an elephant into Camp Randall. I'm also the last band director to ride an elephant into Camp Randall. Because if you were there for that particular game, the elephant did an encore on the 50-yard line.
What do you remember about that?
The flying?
Yeah.
It's great fun.
Terrifying at all? Or
No, it's not at all terrifying. The people who do that are so safety conscious that there's absolutely no fear from my standpoint, and it is great fun. I get to be a kid again. Oh, I'm not a kid, if you didn't notice.
Speaking of kids, you probably had band members who had kids that are now playing for you or played through the years. Did you ever go up to anyone and go, I know something about your daddy?
Oh, yes, I do that all the time. And Daddy's going to pay me not to tell.
You've had some kids, though, that have been there a long. Was there one that was there, an undergraduate, for like forever?
We had an undergraduate who was with the marching band for 10 seasons. And he wasn't that dumb. Well, he was a tuba player, so maybe he was. But this is a kid who loved the band, and as I recall, he was an engineering student, and that's a 5-year program to begin with. But he started very early on in his career laying out the spring semester so he could march in the band the first semester and could earn some money. So he would march the first semester, lay out the second semester, go back to work, earn some money, and then be able to come back.
That's Wisconsin education.
Yeah, he did it for him.
You have an uncanny knack, and anyone who's talked with him knows. Let's just say your name is Bob and you were there in 1964. He will know what you played. That's uncanny because how many people, hundreds of thousands by now, right?
Well, we probably put about 70 new people through the band each year. So you multiply that times the 50 years I've been there, and that's how many kids I've been introduced to over the years. And when you live with them like I do, literally, I mean, we're there during football season, at the start of the football season, we're there 7-8 hours a day, every day of the week. And so we get to know each other very well. We get to know our strengths and our weaknesses. And I make it a point to call them by name as much as I possibly can, because I think it's important when you're dealing with 180 people that somebody knows that. What did you say his name was?
Bob.
Bob. If I say, Bob, you're out of line, that's a lot more than say, hey, you're out of line. And so that's part of my philosophy on doing it.
Do you remember a performance that stands out above anything else you did?
Rose Bowl, 1992 and 93, 94. When
Here they come in the Rose Bowl parade, by the way.
That was so much everything that I had hoped for. I'd been at the university 25 years when we finally got to the Rose Bowl, and I had written it off. I thought it's never going to happen. I'm never going to get to see the Rose Bowl. And then magically, Barry put together a team and a magical season that we won the Big Ten championship. We got to go to the Rose Bowl. We won the Rose Bowl, and it was just magical. The whole week was just unlike anything Now, I've been there 5 other times, and they've all been great, but that first one was special.
You inevitably had to tell the university that you were done, but you wanted to tell the band first, right?
Yeah, I did.
How'd that go?
It was the hardest thing I've done up to this point. It's a very hard thing because I didn't want to necessarily say it, but I knew it was time, and it was the hardest thing I've done. The kids in the band, I think, understood. They think they understand that I would rather keep going and know that I could keep going rather than to say, well, somebody should have told me a couple of years ago, and maybe there are people out there that were saying that a couple of years ago, but that was my feeling about it. I felt like the time had come, and for some reason that 50 seemed kind of magical again for me.
You lost your wife recently.
I did.
That had to be. Was that also part of the reason why you decided now was the time?
It had a part in it. It had a part in it. We had been married for 62 years. More important than that, we started dating. I use the word loosely because we were in the 7th grade. And
You too, huh? Yeah.
But we had been together as a couple from the 7th grade through that marriage, and it was a great loss that I'll never overcome. But I think about her a lot when we have what I tell the band are moments of happiness. And my reference to the moments of happiness with the band is that everybody's going to have tragedy. Everybody's going to have uncomfortable times. Everybody's going to be times when they don't like what's going on.
Right.
But there are also the other times, too. There are those moments that you can live on. The Rose Bowl is one of them.
Sure.
A couple weeks ago in Yankee Stadium, that was one of those. You live on those times.
Yeah.
You live for those moments, and those moments of happiness can carry you sometimes through those other parts.
Is there something you're going to miss more than anything else?
The kids.
Yeah.
The kids in the band, because they've made it special, and each day they make it special that I get a chance to work with them. You've heard a lot of people on this stage talk about how important the young people are, and they are. That's where everything is going to happen. Good is going to happen, and I look around the band and I say these are the best people they're ever going to know in the rest of their lives, the people that are in the band, and that makes it very special for me.
The spring concert used to draw a few hundred people. Now it sells out the Kohl Center. How's that feel to just sit there and soak that up?
There's one thing I do almost every year. There's a scene in Rocky where Rocky goes up at the top of the arena and looks around and sees all the empty seats, and I always think about that it's to think that soon's going to be filled with people. It's a moment that I've had so many great moments of happiness in my life. I feel guilty because it's been great.
He is our Red Smith Award winner for an amazing career, 50 years. I have one thing before we go. What? Mike's crew's going to stick around and do a 5th quarter. How's that sound? Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mike Lackrone on 50 years of fabulous work for the Badgers. Michael, thank you so much. Fantastic. Take a picture or two. Here they come. And ladies and, here we go. No. Good idea. I'm going to just move these out of the way. You watch these? You might want to just lay them down. How'd we do? Oh, yeah. One more. One more. Johnson, you've said it all. Woo! One more time. Absolutely, Mike. That was fabulous. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Great job. Great job. Great job.
Please subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you get notified when we post another great episode or interview. Download the podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for your support.